Happy Wednesday, y'all. Like, I love the idea of doing these videos earlier, but now the sun is directly in my face. Last week it was kind of gloomy, and even though I love the sunlight, it's like, why are you in my face? But that's not necessarily a bad thing, that the light is on me. So, like we usually do, we're just going to wait to see who comes in, and in about 3 minutes, we will get started. And even if you are watching this on the replay, let me know how you've been. Um, Things have been better for me. Last week was kind of a hard week, but I'm glad to be in this one, which is a better one. And I hope this sunlight being in my face isn't too much of a distraction. So I'm just adjusting my volume to make sure that you guys can hear me. Because I was moving all around before I hit the live button, but there's no way that I can get this sun out of my face. So just bear with me. And tonight I'll be using my handy dandy notes on my phone. So hope that you guys don't mind because it's not necessarily a lot of information, but it's more than usual. So I wanted to make sure that I covered all of these points and that I didn't forget anything because I really want you guys to get this information. So I wanted to make sure that I had everything jotted down and ready to go. So one more minute and then we'll jump right into it. All right, y'all. It is 6:03. So, thank you guys for tuning in. And this is Pick My Brain. And last time we did the video, it was just in general questions that you had about a business, about writing a book, about your professional writing, your careers, anything of that nature. But this Pick My Brain is for brainstorming. And the goal is to cover some things that I usually cover in my brainstorming sessions. And even though they're an hour long, I wanted you guys to see how interactive they are. So even though it's an hour, a lot still gets done in that hour and it's fun. So I wanted to give you guys a snippet of what goes on. So I wanted to break that down into 15 minutes to just show you how intensive it can be. So my goal is to take questions from you guys while I'm sharing some tips. That way we can brainstorm some ideas on air. If you're comfortable with that, if not, you can just shoot me a DM after and you can ask me a few questions. And of course, after your third question, we're going to have to go over to the full 1 hour session. But as always, like I am happy to help and in any way that I can help get you started because sometimes you just need that extra push. It's not necessarily about, a full intensive paid session. You just need that extra push. And the reason why I'm adamant about doing that is because a lot of people have done that for me. And I just want that to be my way of giving back to people. So, in the same way that people have helped me, I want to help other people. So, if you've seen the title, you know that this particular Pick My Brain, Brainstorming Edition, is going to be about finding inspiration. Because anyone who is a writer, a content creator, anyone who has a business, there involves some form of writing. And it's whether it's your own material or whether you're just promoting your business, it involves writing. And when you don't have other people doing that, sometimes it's difficult for you to find the inspiration to be consistent. I was one of those people. So I wanted to share some tips with you guys to help you find inspiration either when it's hard for you to find the inspiration or when you just feel that there's no more inspiration for you, like you're burnt out. So, the first tip that I have is to discover why you lack inspiration. And you have to get to the source of the issue to actually figure out how to tackle the issue. For me, I went through a period where I lacked inspiration, and it was because I was burnt out. And it's one of those things that happens often, and especially 2020, it was one of those things that took a toll on all of us. And even though I didn't realize it at the time, it weighed very heavily on me. And I didn't realize that I was, just growing tired of doing the same old thing. So, in order for me to get more inspiration, I decided to change some things up. So, because my old computer was outdated, things went slow. It was like, okay, I feel limited here. I got a new laptop. And with that new laptop, I was able to go in multiple places to write. So I can write in my room. I can go and sit at the kitchen table. I can go outside if I wanted to. And I wasn't able to do that with the old laptop because it was old and fragile. So once I was able to get mobile again with a new laptop, it's like all these ideas just started coming and I started to get excited. So it was enjoyable for me to write. And if any of you guys are experiencing the same thing, whether it's burnout or it's a personal issue, because sometimes we could be going through things emotionally that affects us being inspired. And when you watch the news, 9 times out of 10 is hardly ever any good news. And that can weigh heavily on you too. So if you need to just tune out from the world for a while, just to center yourself and to just get back to a sense of peace, make sure that you do that for yourself. But of course, it's always going to be figure out why you lack inspiration before you're able to come up with a solution. So we have someone who joined us. Hi, Lawanda. My sister popped in. So you just missed the first tip for finding inspiration, which is figure out why you lack inspiration. So number two, you have to envision your desired outcome. Why am I in the dark? What, you can't see me? Yeah, so my sister was asking me why am I in the dark because I can see the light on my face and I have the light on. So, because I know this video is going to look a little crazy, but as long as you guys get the message, I'm all for it. So, going back to the list, you have to envision your desired outcome. So, if you're someone who's promoting your business, you have to make sure that you have a direct goal in mind. So, do you want more engagement? Do you want more followers? Do you want more business? So, always have that in the front of your mind. If you're someone who's writing a book or an ebook, what is your goal? Do you just want to do it to create more income? Do you want to do it to attract clients to your business? Always have that in mind because when you have a clear goal, it's easier for you to be inspired because you know what you're working towards. So it's not like you're just doing it just to do it. It has a clear intent and a clear purpose. Thank you. My sister said that she likes my purple and she guesses that I'm paying old to Prince. I didn't do it on purpose, but I guess so. Yeah, so she's saying it's not as much light because it's a shadow from the sunlight, but I promise y'all, I have the light on in here. So just bear with me. And over time, like I'm going to figure out a better setup, once I get my ring light and everything. So just bear with me, y'all. So going back to envisioning your desired outcome. Know what it is that you're looking to receive at the end because you don't just want to work just to say that you're working. You want it to have an end result. You want it to have a clear purpose and a clear intent. And to add to that, one of the things that keeps it at the forefront of your mind, what your end result or your end goal is surrounding yourself with images that show you what that will look like. So for someone who's writing a book, you want to surround yourself with people who have published a book, especially if it's in the same genre that you want to publish your book in. You want to publish a book that's a bestseller. Look at books that are published by bestsellers. If you want to tap into a certain area that explains your expertise, start looking at people who have ebooks or other books in their area of study or their area of expertise. And when you're able to see it that it's possible, you put that image into your own mind as if it's possible for you as well. And also, one thing I like to do, I like to save images and I like to screenshot. And I have hundreds of screenshots. And over time, I do go through my phone to make sure that I'm clearing everything out so it doesn't get too cluttered. But if I see something that someone else is doing that I like, I take a snapshot of it so that I can go back to it and I can pull from that. And it's not necessarily copying what someone is doing. It's just knowing, okay, I see that this works. So I am going to not necessarily follow this or imitate it, but I'm going to use this as inspiration for my own work. And that's one of the ways that I'm able to constantly come up with new content. Thank you. My sister said that's a great idea. And I know a lot of people feel as if they have to figure things out on their own. No. If you notice, a lot of people who do well on social media, you're going to see them use a lot of the same content ideas. That's because they work. And it's not necessarily that they're doing the same thing over and over and over, because no one's going to have the same backstory as you do. No one's going to have the same purpose that you have. So you are what's going to make it unique. But the strategy in and of itself, if it works, it works. So use that as inspiration. And I also like to save certain sayings to my lock screen, even if it's just inspiration to help you get out of bed in the mornings, even if it's something that helps you tackle your fears, or it reminds you to just smile or have a good day. Make sure that you save images like that as well, because that will also keep you inspired. So, the other thing before I move on to number four is make sure that you create notes in your phone as well. So I'm one of those people, I have things written in my planner and I have things written in my phone because I know that I will forget certain things. So if you want to make a day a content creation day, or if you're writing a book, if you want to write 1,000 words on this particular day, make sure that you have that written down. And when you open up your phone, when you go in your planner, you look and you see, oh, this is my objective for the day. If you don't want to do it by the day, you can do it by the week to know, okay, before the end of the week, this has to get done. So just make sure that you keep that at the forefront of your mind by creating a reminder. And if you want to get fancy with your reminders, you can put them in your calendar as well. That way you can get a notification in addition to just having a note in your phone. So, number four, create a positive environment. For me, this was a big deal because I recently moved. And when I was living in my apartment, it was just me there. So I have limited distractions and I was sitting directly in front of the window. So it was just peaceful and tranquil. However, now that I live with other people again, it's difficult to have that peace and quiet. So it's been quite a struggle to get back to having like that peaceful environment, because even though I don't have anything on in here, there are TVs on, people are on the phone, and even where my desk is, as you can see, it's against the wall and it's not directly in front of the window. And when it was directly in front of the window, it was like I fed off of that sunlight. It was the thing that would energize me, it would keep me going, even if I felt low, it would lift my spirits. But now I don't have that. And this is one of the things that led to me feeling the burnout a few months ago, because this is going to sound funny, but sometimes it feels like I'm in timeout because my desk is against the wall. So like I'm not facing the window to see what's going on in the outside world, and the sunlight is behind me instead of in front of me. So, for you all to create your positive environment, make sure that it is free of distractions. If you need to light candles, play music, if you need to pray, meditate, journal to get your thoughts flowing, whatever it is that you need to do to create that peaceful environment, make sure that you do it. My sister just made a comment. That's an inside joke about peeping through the window. It's a song. If you guys have not checked that out, please do. And once you do, come back and tell me about it because it is hilarious. But anyway, so make sure that you're able to create this positive environment for yourself so that you're able to thrive, so that you're able to let your thoughts flow freely. Because anyone who's experiencing a mental block or an emotional block, sometimes it's because we just need to center ourselves and get focused on what it is that we want to create. And the outside world can be a major, major distraction. So once you're able to get that out of the way, you're able to think clearer, you're able to focus better, and you will be surprised by how freely your thoughts will flow once you create that environment for yourself. And even if you are a person who loves nature, go outside more. Don't think that you just have to stay confined to the inside just because you are doing work. You can set up a space outside, and that's going to be my goal once it warms up for real. Because as you can see, I'm in a long sleeve shirt. I thought it was warming up, but it's still cold. But once it really gets spring, I do plan on setting up a work table outside so that I can switch up my environment and that way I can be more inspired. So, the last thing Oh, and before I move on to number five, I wanted to remind you guys to free your space of clutter. I know some people have organized chaos and that works well for them, but if you're a person who's like me, sometimes I feel like the more stuff that's around me, it clouds my space. So I feel as if whatever clutter is around me, that matches the clutter that is in my mind. So I have to have a space that is clear of clutter, which is why in the coming week or so, I'm going to be working on getting rid of some stuff in my space because I feel like it's starting to block my creativity. So, if you are a person who operates in the same way, make sure that you have a clutter free space. And my sister mentioned that that's what she needs to work on, going outside more. It's a beautiful day today. Very beautiful. That's part of the reason why the sun is shining in my face like this. And I really do enjoy being outside. When I was in college, that was one of the things that I did often. I would just sit outside and just people watch. I would study outside. I've even taken naps outside because it's just such a peaceful environment. In my freshman year, I used to live by the lakes and I would just go out. Like we had like this kind of patio set up and I would just go and sit out and like just read a book, while listening to the ducks and seeing people walk by. So whatever type of environment that's going to just have you thinking freely and clearly and when you're at peace, make sure that you create that for yourself. So last but certainly not least, just breathe. Just be present. Focus on the fact that you are here right now and just allow the inspiration to come to you. Because it is easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of our day to day lives and thinking that we have this to do, that to do. If you have a family, it's like, okay, you got to see about your kids, you have to see about other people, but just take a moment to just breathe and relax. Don't try to force it, just allow it to come to you. And with me being more present, I'm able to just brainstorm without even trying to. Like thoughts just come to me without me having to actively think about them. And it takes work to get there, but it is definitely possible when you just take a moment to express gratitude. Like just be thankful for where you are right now, to be thankful to be here, even to be in a space to where you can create. Be thankful for the opportunities that you have, that you will receive, that you are able to be in a position to where you can share your thoughts with the world, where you can create, where you can be of service to the world, you know, and just relax. And if you need to incorporate more time into your schedule, where even if it's just 5 minutes, to where you do absolutely nothing, to where you just focus on just breathing and just being in the present moment. You will be surprised at how many thoughts that will come to you after that because you are really just taking the time to just clear your mind of everything. Anything that can be a distraction, anything that may be worrying you, anything that may be weighing heavily on you. You can free yourself of that as well. And I've had issues with anxiety in the past. And there were times where I would just be dreading working on a project and it's like I just don't know what to say or what to write. It's like I don't have anything else to say. And I remember like a lot of times like just sitting on the floor, like just needing to take a moment to really just get myself together. And from the outside looking in, it may have looked a little weird, and some people might argue it may have been close to a panic attack. But I really just needed to do something different. Instead of sitting at the desk, just sitting there, trying to rack my brain, trying to figure out what am I going to write? What am I going to do? It's like I just had to shift things up and like just take a moment to just focus on the present moment. Then once I was ready, I was able to go and it was able to come to me. And of course, like I said, all of that just takes practice, figuring out what works best for you because a lot of things that I mentioned may not work for you. And you might be a person who's able to come up with your own strategies. And even though it may seem like it's not the best way to go to other people, if it works for you, it works for you. Don't ever let anyone tell you that what you're doing is wrong because it's not necessarily right or wrong. It's just a matter of doing what works best for you because a lot of you may not even need some of the things that I mentioned. You might just need that extra push. You just might need someone to remind you that what you want to do is possible and you just have to make it possible. And like I mentioned in the Pick My Brain video last time, like to jumpstart any goal, you have to just get started. You just have to do it. And it may not even be that you lack inspiration. It may just be you need a little bit of encouragement you need a reminder that you are capable and that whatever you have in your mind to do, you will accomplish it. You will accomplish it. So I am, like I've been moving slowly, like all day, and it's like I do feel a little tired and groggy, So after this live, I probably am going to go lie down for a bit because I was telling my sister earlier that even though Wednesdays are my days off, sometimes I still feel like they're not really. Because even though I'm not doing client work, like I'm still doing work for the business and even getting ready for these lives, even though I do enjoy doing them, like sometimes they take preparation. And by the time I get here, it's like, okay, so I'm tired because like my focus has been on it. But of course, with anything, the more that you do it, the more comfortable that you get, and it comes to you like second nature. So it's just a matter of me just figuring out my schedule, which is why I'm playing around with the time now. So I was doing it an hour later. Now I'm doing it an hour earlier, and I really do like this. And you see, like the sun is starting to set a little bit, so you see it's not as much in my face, but I really do feel good with the sun being out. My sister said it's not work. Yeah, she gets on me about like saying things double, but that's how you know it's for real when you say it double. But just going back to what I was saying, it's like I'm starting to try things that make me feel better. And the more that I do things, the more inspiration that I get. And even with people reaching out to me wanting to be a part of what I'm doing, that inspires me. And it inspires me to keep pushing, it inspires me to keep going. Because every single time I log off of these lives, it's like I get ideas for what the next one could be and what the next one could be, so that I can continue to have content for you all. So, so if you're wondering why I'm laughing at my sister. So, I do have a question that someone submitted, and I'm just going to pull it up. And if you guys have any questions related to anything that I discuss, or even if it's just a general question, feel free to send it to me. And if you are one of the lucky people, you will get selected for your questions to be answered on air. But if I don't get to it, I will definitely still send you a DM or I will inbox you and I will be sure to answer your question. And I got a question on LinkedIn, and this person wants to know how can they publish their next book through the same company that I published my book. So if you guys do not know, I recently published an ebook called How to Write a Book Without Breaking the Bank, and I published it on Gumroad. And basically, Gumroad is a great source for people who are creators, people who want to put out digital content, people who want to put out webinars, videos, ebooks, audio, anything that's digital. And I was watching a lot of other business owners put out their content through there because originally I was going to go straight through Amazon because that's what I was familiar with from working with my clients. But I figured that I could, do a two for one. So I can have a run on Gumroad first. And on Gumroad, I would be able to price it a little higher because I'm able to give more content. So on Amazon, I wouldn't be able to package it the way that I wanted to package it. So I could be a little bit more creative on Gumroad. But once I'm done with the run on Gumroad, I will just take the text from my ebook and just put it on Kindle for a much lower price. But that will probably be later this year. But going back to Gumroad, I wouldn't recommend it if you intend to have a physical copy of your book as well. I still would advise going to other outlets like Amazon, or if you wanted to look into Lulu or other platforms that help you distribute your book online, I would suggest doing it that way. And the reason why is because you might be limited. Gumroad is more so, for people who just want to do things digitally or people who want to target a specific audience, people who are business owners who are looking for easier ways to do something, people who want to share their expertise. I haven't really come across too many people who have published regular ebooks, so like a novel. I haven't come across people who've done that, or other forms of nonfiction that were like a memoir or things that were more historical in context or anything that was self help. It's really more so with digital things such as design, writing, editing, how to increase your social media following, how to increase engagement, how to attract more people to your brand. So I've seen it work well for that area. However, I don't ever want to discourage people from going that route because if you feel it works for you, it works for you. But if you want my honest opinion, I would still take another route and not do Gumroad for a regular project. But just to give you the, short version of how to publish on Gumroad, it is very simple, very easy, and even though there are different types of memberships, you can just select the free one. And of course, Gumroad would take a certain percentage, just like other companies do, but they call it royalties. And they would take a certain percentage of whatever your price is for every book that is sold or every product. It doesn't necessarily have to be a book. And you just enter in all your information. If you want to do a pre order, you can select pre order and you will have a certain date to get your stuff uploaded, or you can just publish it on that same date that you log on and sign up for everything. And the thing that I like about Gumroad, you can communicate directly with your customers. So the people who have purchased from you, it's just like if you have a MailChimp. You can send them an email directly from Gumroad. And those are your customers, the people who will be first in line every single time that you publish something. And it's just that simple. It's just a matter of just signing up and just understanding. Make sure that you read all the terms and conditions because I know a lot of people just skip through so they can get their things done, but really understand as far as it comes to ownership, as far as it comes to how much you will receive, because a lot of people do get discouraged when they realize that a lot of these companies do take a big chunk of their earnings. But when you realize that you're using the platform for the exposure, because a lot of people are familiar with the platform, a lot of people will stumble across your product even if they don't know who you are. So that's what you're paying them for. So it's not necessarily like they're taking money from you. You're just paying them to use their platform. But I am an advocate for self promotion. So in the future, whenever I do release my own books, as far as, novels and self help books, memoirs, I do want to do it on my own. But of course, until I get to that point, I am going to continue to use these paid platforms because I don't mind paying for a benefit that I know is going to help me and that's going to grow my following. So, with anything, just make sure that you do your research, know the pros and cons, make sure that you make a very calculated decision because when you take risk, there's always going to be something that you might lose, but on the other side, there's always something that you might gain. So just make sure that you just cross all your T's, dot all your I's, and make sure that you understand the full process so that there won't be any surprises that might catch you off guard. So let me see what time it is, guys. Let me see. So it is almost 6:30, and of course my goal is to always keep these videos short so that I don't ramble on too much because I do have a tendency to do that, and especially now because I'm getting kind of sleepy. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this live video, and I was considering taking a break, so I don't know if I will be back in 2 weeks or not because I might finish out the Let It Go Wednesday for April. So next week you can join me on my IG Live. I will be doing part two of my body image series. I didn't intend for it to be part two, but there has been such positive feedback and people who want to contribute to the conversation. So I'm going to do it again. So make sure that you join me next Wednesday at 6. And I'm going to be joined by some more people again. You guys seem to love the conversation aspect. So that is going to be on at She Writes Masterpieces. So if you're not following me there already, make sure that you follow me and make sure that you drop your questions. Send me a DM. Let me know what you want us to discuss because I have a few topics in mind, but I'm always willing to take a few ideas from the audience, which is you guys, since this content is for you all. And if there's anything that you want to discuss in the future on Pick My Brain, let me know that as well. I am always open to ideas. And if there's anything else that you want to discuss with me, feel free to reach out to me. You can drop me a comment, send me a DM, email me. You can find all of that in a link in bio. Make sure that you check out my YouTube channels. Make sure that you go check out My ebook on Gumroad again is How to Write a Book Without Breaking the Bank, and it will teach you how to write, plan, and publish your book without spending all your coins. So make sure that you click that link in bio, see everything that I am doing. And again, thanks everyone who tuned in, especially my sister. And I will probably be calling you soon. But until next time, I will see you guys later, and I hope that you have an amazing evening and an amazing rest of the week. I will see you guys soon. Bye.